So please describe to me what the aesthetic look is exactly.
More like this guy here.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and bring
Oh wow, you really have to come in here?
like this guy here.
Is this
No,
is this really happening? He met the other guy behind you, bro. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm right into that bad boy.
You can stay right there, behind the camera, behind the camera. No, see, now that you got me jealous now.
That's okay.
That's not
no,
fair.
but you're more in the category like Wright or Arnold. Okay?
My man. Yeah. Arnold Ferrigno. Huh?
Okay.
Aesthetic.
That's great, partner. You two ever go out place everything in its proper place?
That does not make sense, but we usually do go. We head to Kroger's, and we work.
Yeah. I've got a lady waiting for me back home also. She has the most beautiful scrotum. Oh, God. And when she sings, she sounds just like a puppy dog.
How do you nail a photo?
Just gotta get in the mode. You gotta talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes. You
Okay,
gotta
so
have the eyes
can
first.
you show me a little bit of something, like, to this camera? I would love to know how to do this. I just want to know.
Well,
How
I
do you do it?
mean,
Teach
the
me
smile,
something.
You can get the sexy eyes. Then you know you gotta get the smile. Smile going on some shoes, but you know.
Wait, hold up.
You got.
I gotta
when
try
it's
this
time,
with
when,
you.
it, when it's
Hold
time
on.
to laugh,
I gotta try
you
this
gotta
with
think
you.
of something funny
All
and start laughing.
Do it again. Do it again. How do you do it? Teach me.
Sexy eyes.
The sexy eye.
This is sexy eyes right here.
Smizing?
Smile.
So you're smizing.
Smizing.
Smile. Okay.
And then you gotta get the.
No, I look like I need to take a poop or something.
Wish words were like little toy guns. No sting, no hurt, no one, just a bang, bang. Right?
Is that it?
Yeah, it's something like that. Just a bang,
Toy
bang,
guns.
rolling off your tongue.
Toy guns.
It's no smoke, no
Bang, bang.
bullets.
Water guns. All right.
Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to everybody out there. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful one so far. You know what I mean? Kicking the day and starting off the week on a positive note. And if you guys are having a good day, if you had a good weekend, let's just say that, be sure to hit that like button down below. Send all that positive energy that you had this weekend and send it right into this feed right here. Okay, I hope you guys are all having a good one today. I am riding solo dolo today. You know what I'm saying? I do not have David, nor do I have any of the other co-hosts today. So we're going to be riding through this today. Just me, myself, and I. You know what I'm saying? But it's good. You know, I'm excited about today because there's a lot to talk about. Philippe, thank you so much. All the way from Switzerland. I saw somebody else commenting saying they were watching from Phoenix, if I'm correct. So I want to say good morning to everybody all over the globe, all over the world. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time zone you're watching this show right now. Good morning, okay? Ardessa, hugs to you as well. So good morning to Siri out in Germany. You know what I mean? Like I said, we got a lot of international folks that come into the show. We always appreciate that international love. Oh, we really do appreciate it. There are a lot of things that we got to talk about. My weekend was very nice and chill, actually. Just really quick. Very nice and chill. Got a chance to go to this place called Top Golf and swing a few balls, which was kind of cool. Hit a few balls and have a good time. Never been to Top Golf before. So it was really good. I had a really fun time doing that. You know, just on a positive note, because we got a lot of not so positive stuff to talk about today, unfortunately. Like the pop-up video I did last night, there was a man. His name is Duante Wright. He was 20 years old, and he was gunned down by the police in Minnesota. And to be honest, this one's a really sad one. You know, any person that dies is always a sad one, but this particular story is really messed up. And now if I'm correct, the National Guard has been deployed in Minnesota, the town that he was in, which is like a suburb, called Brooklyn Center. So we're going to be looking at a couple clips here and there of what happened last night, because there has been some serious protesting that erupted last night. I even covered it a tiny bit on my pop-up video from last night. Now, if you guys don't know what's going on, I'm going to give you guys a brief breakdown, a brief synopsis overview of what happened last night. So, from what the police have said in their police report, there was a vehicle, there was a pull-up of a traditional, regular, routine traffic stop where 20-year-old Duante Wright was driving his car. Now, there's all different speculations that have been hovering around. They did not say in the police report why he was getting pulled over. They just said that he has a warrant out for his arrest. Okay. So let me get this. Let me pull up this article right quick. Make sure we have what we need so we can talk about this thing. Because, like I said, it's sad. It's really, really sad, y'all. Now, as I covered on the show, or on my pop-up last night, the police report had said, they basically said, well, there was a routine traffic stop. He already had a warrant out for his arrest. He had an outstanding warrant. I guess he was taken out of the car. He got out of the car. I guess they were going to arrest him. He goes back into his car. He gets shot. After he gets shot, he drives the car off, and he crashes into a couple of cars a few blocks. This is saying several blocks down the road. Now, and then he was pronounced dead on the scene. So there's a lot of different things here, but let me just show it to you guys real quick. All right, so this is saying what happened to Duante Wright. In a statement, Brooklyn Center Police Department said officers had pulled a man over for a traffic violation on Sunday afternoon and determined that he had an outstanding arrest warrant. They said that when police tried to arrest him, he re-entered the vehicle. Now, we already know. Excuse me. Now, we already know that when you do something like that, you're basically toast. Let's be real, okay? Anytime somebody tries to re-enter their car after they have been told to turn around, put your hands behind your back, that kind of thing, you're being arrested for X, Y, and Z, whatever he was arrested for. Now, from what we know, it had to do with something like possession of a deadly weapon. I'm trying to get that right. Hold on, guys. Let me get that too real quick. So if I'm correct, he had a excuse me. So from what I understand, he had a warrant out for his arrest for, if I'm correct, it was possession of a deadly weapon, if I'm correct. All right. But I need to look that up. But let's get back into this thing right quick. So an officer then shot. He went back into his car. He tried to jump back into his car. An officer then shot the driver, who then drove on for several blocks before he crashed into another vehicle. He was pronounced dead at the scene. A female passenger, so his girlfriend, from my understanding, his girlfriend was in the driver's side with him. All right. She suffered non-life threatening injuries. The police said the officers involved were wearing body cameras, and dash cameras had also been activated. So hopefully we will get the full scope of this story. We don't know everything yet. I keep saying, like, we don't know everything yet. Why? Because we don't know everything yet. All we know is a small bit. We know only pieces of this story. Only pieces, y'all. Only pieces. Now, I already played it in my pop-up video, but in my pop-up video, the mother basically said he was pulled over because he had air fresheners hanging on his rear view mirror. We don't know if that's entirely true, too. Seems very strange for someone to be pulled over because of whatever's dangling on their rear view mirror. To me, doesn't make any sense. To me, doesn't make any bloody sense, right? Now, it says here, the mother said her son called, traffic stop, and he said he'd been pulled over for air fresheners hanging from the rear view mirror. She said she heard the scuffling and the phone line was cut. A minute later, I called and his girlfriend answered, who was the passenger in the car, and said he had been shot. My son was lying there lifeless. The other part of it is, apparently, Duante Wright's body laid out there in the streets for hours before they even did anything like remove the body, move the body somewhere else. Allegedly, the body just laid there for hours. No lie. Now, Big Cat Ernie just said they do pull you over for that. That's news to me. I've never heard anybody be pulled over for having air fresheners hanging on their rear view mirror. I got air fresheners hanging on my rear view mirror. Now I feel like I got to take those mugs down. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get pulled over and I don't want to die because of driving while air freshening. You feel me? That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. So, of course, of course, the mayor has, put out a statement basically saying this is a tragic event, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So here's the other thing. The mother says she said her son's body has been left on the ground by officers, adding, "Nobody will tell us anything. Nobody will talk to us." I said, "Please take my son off the ground." Like I just said, they have been sitting there. Duante Wright's body had been laying there for hours, y'all. Hours. And the body wasn't moved. This kind of reminds me a little bit of what happened with Michael Brown Jr. When he was shot, when he was killed, they literally left his body there. And for a good portion of the time, he was not covered. They did not cover his dead body. He just laid there for hours. As bystanders could just see a dead kid in the middle of the ground, in the middle of the road. Same thing is going on here, Now, conservative Republic, I know he didn't die because of an air freshener, but he got pulled over for that air freshener. Then as they typed in, they did their clickety clack, they Googled him real quick, you know what I'm saying? By typing his name in, they found out that he had a warrant out for his arrest. Now, there are photos of him out here putting out these, where he has put out photos and where he's holding guns, pointing at the camera, X, Y, and Z. On his social media, he has, F the po-po and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was not a fan. He was not a fan of the boys in blue. At least this is what he was putting on his social media. But that still does not warrant someone getting shot and killed. All right. So, as I was saying, it has gotten pretty bad in Minnesota, in Brooklyn. So we're going to take a look at that too. So. Boom. I mean, this is getting gnarly, y'all. So this is just a small bit. This is just a small bit of what's been going on. This is kind of a little bit of a shot of what's going on inside of like a local convenience store here. Obviously, looting and rioting has officially begun, but this is just a little bit of a clip so you guys could take a look at this. Let's check it out.
This shit look like, I think he needs to new comments for this shit. Yeah, these bitches saying, damn, these bitches get sold for 30.
There we go, guys. You know, and that's just a small example of some of the looting that's going on right now. Right now, you know, this is what I've said before, and I'm gonna keep saying it again. You know what I'm saying? I'll keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. Real talk, y'all. We don't know. Like I said, I've said in my pop up, and I'm gonna keep saying it until, like I said, until I'm blue in the face. We really don't know what happened. We don't know the full scope of everything. Still, no matter what, I'm angry as hell that we have another man, another black kid. I mean, he's a kid. He was 20. You know? Dead. We have another kid dead. Another young black man dead. All right? So I'm not going to sit here and say that that's not a tragedy. That is a huge tragedy. But one thing that I hate more than anything in the world is that we got people that are out here going crazy, rioting, looting, etc., when they don't know everything yet. When we had George Floyd, right? When we saw George Floyd's body limp on the ground underneath Derek Chauvin's knee, there was a reason for an uproar. I understood that. But this one, we don't know everything yet. There is a reason to protest, but to go smash up windows and destroy more buildings and businesses in your own community, I don't know if that's necessary right now. We need to know what the hell is going on. We don't know what's going on. Like I said, we don't have the full scope of everything yet. I would love to get the full scope of everything so that whatever you end up doing, whatever it may be, whatever ends up happening is a justified reaction to the unjust. But we don't know what's going on. We don't. We need more facts. We need more proof. We need to see the dash cam footage. We need to see the body cam footage. Don't get me wrong. I'm tired of hearing more and more black men and women dying at the hands of the cops. I'm sick and tired of it. Tired and sick of it. But I also don't want us to react irrationally if we don't know everything yet. Again, it's still messed up that the family still can't get a full answer from anything, from anyone. Still messed up. Absolutely wrong. But I want to play this one video, this one clip, because, you know, I wanted us to see the family one last time, and I wanted you to hear from her, from his mother. His mother is sitting here saying, guys, don't go crazy. Stop. Chill out. Let's find out what's going on so that we can fully get justice for Duante. But no one's listening. We're out here. Everybody's out here acting a damn fool, looting and rioting. And we're going, wait a second. What? You never know. You never know what happened. Let's get the body cam footage. Let's get the dash cam footage. The only difference between this situation and George Floyd's situation is that we have a viral video, several viral videos of seeing him perish right before our eyes. This one has nothing. So far, nothing has leaked. There has not been a side perspective, shooting from a building or shooting from a window somewhere. You know what I mean? Some bystander standing off on the side of the road just happens to shoot it on their phone. Nothing. We got nothing so far. This reminds me of the time what happened in Minneapolis last year as well, where there was a man. I forgot the name of the man, but where the man literally was in the city. I guess he was about to get arrested, and he took his own life in the middle of the street, right? So as soon as his body hit the floor, there were people out here saying that he was shot by the police. Guess what happened, y'all? Guess what happened? Looting and rioting began. It erupted so quickly. And I understand. There's a nerve out there. It is palpable out there. You could cut it with a knife. The tension is that thick, that tense right now, right? But this man took his own life. But there was a story circulating everywhere saying that he had been shot dead in public by the cops. But if you look at the video, countless times, you see that he pulls the gun out on himself and he ends his own life. But because we don't have the full scope, of everything, that's when everybody starts losing their damn minds, going crazy, and we look like fools. We look like fools. Like we have everybody. Now we have we have everybody going out there going, oh, see, this another reason for black people to get mad, or another reason for BLM to get all riled up and Antifa to get all riled up. And it's like, no, we need to stop perpetuating this thought, this notion. We need to find out what's going on first before we just go and lose our minds. Because it does look like now, we're just using these certain opportunities to act up. And get some new J's or some power tools like we just saw in that convenience store. I think it was like a hardware store that they looted. And it's getting ridiculous. Lady Justice said, and MPD, Minnesota PD was quick to release that footage because it exonerated them. Absolutely. They was so fast. They go, blop, here you go. See, what did he do? What did he do? You see what I'm saying? He did it himself. We didn't do nothing. He did it himself. Because that easily exonerates them. Exactly, Lady Justice. It completely puts them out there as, hey, there's no blood on our hands. So everybody stop freaking out. If you see, he's the one who took his own life right there in the middle of the street, in public, right? So we look at this situation. And like I said, this is a tragic, tragic story. But we don't know everything yet. And that's what's so frustrating about this. no matter what. We all know the end story when it comes to, as soon as you hear somebody say, he tried to re-enter his car, we already know. You and I can agree. That's all she wrote. That's the end of that man's life. Period. We all know that. Soon as homeboy, as soon as whoever it is tries to jump back into his car, anybody, you look at Jacob Blake, the Jacob Blake incident, all that. You already know. It doesn't matter if we agree with it or not. We already know. As soon as the dude goes back into his car, tries to go into his car, guns are going to be drawn. You will get shot. Period. The other thing is we don't know how many times he's been shot either. All we know is there was a gun was discharged. How many shots did they shoot off? Just one? We don't know any of this stuff. So, I want to show you guys this. This is the family. Let's take a look.
Il avait 20 ans.
Oh.
On le voit ici.
Nope. Not all y'all speak French, so hold up. My bad on that one. All right, here we go.
Away from that, because now this is exactly what they want you guys to do, so that way my son isn't being hurt, and I need that to. This is my husband. Your son's being hurt.
Let's get justice for my son.
Justice. Way to get a car wash. He was pulled over because he had air fresheners in the rearview mirror.
Car wash? How many of us get a car wash with air fresheners? We all do. Right? They even do on that police.
Say his name. Say his name. This ain't about no checkers, y'all. This is about chess. It's not got to prick us and do no stupid shit out here. Let's be smart. They got all kind of weapons that they can kill us without any trouble, y'all.
They can't keep doing this shit. So man, keep killing our black people like that, man. My boy Johnny, this motherfucker, boy. I'm living out here for 15 years, man. Staying out here for 15 years. They can't keep doing this to us, man. They can't keep doing this to us, man.
Now, you know, obviously there's more video. I'm going to be showing you guys more shots and everything. But what I find very interesting is that initially our first thing is breaking into things. Like, imagine if we got together, protested, but it didn't turn into something violent. Imagine if we all got together in solidarity and we did this in a proper way. Because right now, the only thing that is looking bad, or what's overshadowing the situation, is the looting and rioting and the smashing of cop cars and trying to, cause mayhem, right? Instead of actually trying to find justice for Duante Wright. Now, imagine if we were able to put all this energy, all that energy that we've been putting towards running into buildings and shooting, etc., burning, arson, looting, all that. Imagine if we put all that energy into something more productive. Maybe we could get to some results a lot faster. Maybe we could get justice for Duante Wright, for the many other men and women that have died at the hands of the cops. Imagine. Now, the National Guard has been, the Minnesota National Guard has been deployed in Brooklyn Center because of how chaotic, how insane it's getting out here.
Me too.
How insane it's getting out here. Real talk. More and more buildings are getting destroyed. More and more people are businesses are getting just absolutely ravished right now, all because of this situation. But I keep asking to every single person that goes out there and smashes a window, tries to loot, etc. Is this bringing justice for that particular slain human being? Is it? Is it? That's what I'd like to know. Let's take a look at this here real quick.
By Colonel Matt Langer of the Minnesota State Patrol and Chief Deputy Tracy Martin of the Hennepin County Sheriff's Department. About 2 o'clock this afternoon, we were notified of an officer-involved shooting on the 6300 block of Orchard. Our early reports was that one officer had fired a weapon, striking the driver. The vehicle continued and eventually crashed, and medical resources were then deployed to the scene to aid the people in both the vehicle that was crashed into and the original group. The driver of the vehicle was deceased, and the BCA was then called in as a standard procedure to do the officer-involved shooting investigation. The BCA responded to the scene. By the time the BCA responded, there were reports of in the area of around 100 or so people at the scene that were highly agitated. The West Metro Command, which is a collection of police agencies from Hennepin County, were called. A mobile field force was assembled, and the crowd was asked to disperse, and shortly thereafter the crowd did disperse. Shortly thereafter, in conversation with Hennepin County, Brooklyn Center, Chief Gannon, and others, the MAC, the Multi-Agency Coordinating Center, was opened as we had planned to do so for Operation Safety Net. And at the MAC, we had Hennepin County Sheriffs, we had Brooklyn Center Police Department, we had West Metro Command staff, we had the Minnesota State Patrol, the Minnesota DNR, and the Minnesota National Guard and the Minneapolis Police Department all assembled to coordinate a response to the crowds and the damage that we were beginning to see at that point. Shortly thereafter, there were reports of crowds, 100 to 200, that were marching toward the Brooklyn Center Police Department. As we understand it, and from both our own reports and media reports, we saw rocks and other objects thrown at the police department. There were reports of shots fired in the area of the police department. The mobile field force team from West Metro once again deployed out in front of the police department. They were supported by, once again, a group from the Multi-Agency Coordinating Center. Within hours of that, a secondary group was, we heard, was at the Shingle Creek Mall or Business Center, and we have reports of approximately 20 businesses that were broken into
20
during
businesses.
that period.
Yeah, 20 businesses, which I'm going to show you that actual video because there was a news report on that, which of Shingle Creek, and I find that this is freaking nuts. 20 businesses, y'all, all in one fell swoop. Let's take a look at this.
We are at the Shingle. Yeah, so we are in Brooklyn Center right now. We are at the Shingle Creek Crossing. It's a shopping center here in Brooklyn Center. We've been driving around all morning looking at damage, and it does seem like the majority, the brunt of the damage is here. So I want to show you what we're looking at right now. This is a Rue 21 store. Jason, can we drive just a bit closer? Is that possible? You can see the doors open right now.
Quick question. What's a Rue 21? I feel like I've seen it, but I ain't never walked into one. What the hell is a Rue 21, y'all? Comment below, please. Please. Let a brother know, because I don't even know what that is.
Now, it appears people broke in overnight. There are trash bins on the sidewalk outside the store here that are over. And if you can, I'm not sure if you can see from our shot here, but that Route 21 store is looted. There's this debris, merchandise all over the floor there. There's a Rainbow, which is a woman's clothing store, it appears, that has the front doors, the glass shattered. It appears the inside of that store is there's some damage as well. Really, businesses along this strip, the Shingle Creek Crossing Shopping Center, are damaged. We'll give you
it's insane, y'all.
a look. We'll drive around now and give you a look at some more businesses. But right now, I want to show you video as this was happening last night. We had a photographer out here at Shingle Creek Crossing. I believe right now you're looking at some Hennepin County deputies telling people to leave. I think that's a Verizon store they're at. Our photographer, David Peterlins, who's the person who's getting this video for us, said that deputies would tell people to leave and then they would move on to clear another business and people would just go right back and continue that looting. So this was one group of people, but this damage, this looting was really kind of spread out. We do want to show you now another group, a secondary group gathered outside the Brooklyn Center Police Department. Overnight there was a press conference and Public Safety Commissioner John Harrington said that about 100 to 200 people at one point were marching towards the police department there in Brooklyn Center. He said rocks and other objects were being thrown at that police station, and at one point they had reports of shots being fired in the area of the police station. There was tear gas deployed at the scene there, and actually David Peterlins, who was there getting video for us, got sprayed at one point. He is okay. I spoke with him this morning. David spoke with some people who got hit with that tear gas, and they told us what they witnessed.
Like, I couldn't breathe, I can't see. And they had to call the paramedic to give me to put some milk all over my face. We're just trying to find peace, that's it. How you gonna protect us when you killing us? And we're gonna be outside all day till we get justice.
Okay, so taking a live look again, we are still at the Shingle Creek Crossing Shopping Center in Brooklyn Center. If you can make it out right ahead of us, that's a member of the National Guard. There are actually a couple out patrolling right now. He's in the parking lot of this Walmart here. And then now we're going to show you, this is the Foot Locker, a T-Mobile store, a Boost Mobile, and you can see there's debris in the parking lot all around here. And then on the side of this Foot Locker, they have glass shattered as well. So really multiple businesses in this shopping center. John Harrington, the public safety commissioner, said about 20 businesses were damaged overnight. And earlier in the show, we showed you there's some damage on Lake Street in Minneapolis as well. So it really seems that this looting happened in multiple areas.
You know, and of course, you know, it continues, right? That's not the only place. That's not the only shopping center that was looted and that was hit during the protest last night. Shots were fired last night, not only just from police, but also from protesters. So there was returning fire going on. Actual live rounds were being shot, not just rubber bullets, but actual live rounds. It's insane. It's insane. Like I said, I totally understand getting tired of us losing our men and women. I am so tired of it as well. But at the same time, it is, like I said, I want to see more information about what happened, who it was, or like who this kid is. Why did he get shot? What caused him to get shot? Was there a tussle before he went into the car? Did he just walk over to the car? Did he just say, I'm getting back in my car, and he just went back into his car? What's the full scope of the story? And that's something that we do not know yet. We don't fully know that story yet. And all we could do is sit and wait to see what they come out with, and see how quickly they come out with the body cam footage. There might be we might not get that footage for a long time. You never know. Or they might go, hey, this exonerates us. Here's the information. Here's the footage. Both angles. Enjoy. Sit back. Enjoy it. Take a look. But all we can do is wait so that we can actually get the full scope of everything. You know, I'm gonna turn on the phone lines. All right, I want to hear your thoughts on this one. I want to hear your thoughts on this whole situation. Before we go on to the rest of the show, because I was going to speak on it a little bit later, but I'm like, you know what? No, we should definitely talk about this. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Definitely, if you can, hit that like button. Get those likes all the way up. I'd really, really appreciate it. But give me a call, 314-766-4581. Love to hear your thoughts on this whole situation. Should there be riots and looting right now in the streets? Should there be protesting in the streets right now? Give me a call, 314-766-4581. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this story, for sure. This is still a developing story. We're still trying to figure out what the hell is going on. But this is some, like I said, this is a tough one. Hey, you're on the mic with the Pascal Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm Dave. I'm from Joshua Tree. Let me move in the other room.
Okay. Hi, Dave from Joshua Tree.
I couldn't get to my mute button in time.
You're good. How you doing, my brother?
I'm okay.
Good.
It's not that I think there should be riots, but you know what? We were talking about one of these a couple of weeks ago, and I pointed out in chat that last year I found myself listening to early 90s hip-hop right after the George Floyd video had broken. Specifically, let's say Ice Cube's album The Predator, which was recorded right around the LA riots. And a lot of things that he has said are still true to this day, and it's kind of effed up that over the last almost 3 decades, the only thing that's really changed is that we're looking at more of the same effed up footage.
True.
It sucks, but unfortunately, yeah. There's an old African saying that I heard on Pacifica a while back, and it was something like, if a child doesn't feel the warmth of the village, they will burn the village and feel the warmth of the fire. And that's just what we're seeing. Unfortunately, yeah. I don't like that history has repeated itself again and again. But what's going to make this stop? What's going to make it so that we're not looking at more of the same messed up footage? And we don't know yet.
Yeah. As much as because I've been seeing, obviously the fam has been talking. The fam has been saying the things in the chat and everything. And some people are like, hey, of course, the riots are the voice of the unheard. It's the same quote I used in my pop up when I covered this, when I broke this story last night. But at the same time, at some point, how can the unheard actually be heard? Because let's be real, you do enough looting and rioting, at some point, the unheard is just not going to be heard anymore. Now they're just going to be they're going to be watching the actions of the unheard rather than listening to the unheard. So how can one that is being unheard be heard? You see what I'm saying? Without the rioting.
I absolutely see what I'm saying. And unfortunately, we have repeated this so many times since the 60s. There's a lot of people that look at those rioters, and unfortunately, the racist hogs go, well, we knew those people were going to do that. And unfortunately, you've got a lot of the older Republican types that will say pretty much exactly that. And and they'll continue to for as long as things like this go on. And like I said, I don't think it's right, but I think as long as that voice is being ignored, then unfortunately things like this are going to happen. I hope everyone's wrong about what's going to happen if, let's say, Derek Chauvin gets off for everything. Yeah. But I have a bad feeling about it.
Yeah,
because I lived through this before.
You know, but at the same time, you know, when it comes to Derek Chauvin, I am a little bit more hopeful with this one. I feel like right now, the defense is. I mean, obviously, this is another subject, but I do think the defense is actually getting kicked in the butt pretty hard right now, as of the last few people that they have brought in to testify and everything, especially especially the doctors and people that were involved with the autopsy, etc. You know what I mean? But that's
part of the reason.
Whole other
I don't disagree with you. That's part of the reason why I feel the way I do, though.
Yeah,
is that unfortunately the defense has really been kicking butt, and that's part of the reason why people are going to be even more angry if somehow there's a mistrial, he's acquitted. I don't like it.
Yeah, I was saying the prosecution has been kicking butt. Hopefully that wasn't misconstrued.
No, the defense is going to get their ass kicked.
Oh, that's what you meant. Okay.
Is it going to be enough?
Right.
Is it going to be enough to get them what they deserve? And yeah, we all do hope so. The situation sucks, but we gotta make through it together. And who knows what is going to happen when we come out of the other side of this last year of BS, all of it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows, man?
But,
well, hey, thank you so much for the call, my brother, all right? You stay up. I appreciate it, brother.
You too, bro.
All right, man.
Bye.
Peace. Yeah, I mean, phone lines are open. I appreciate that phone call. 314-766-4581. Give me a call. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this story for sure. You know, with all the craziness that's been going on, what are your thoughts on this situation? You know, I'm currently trying to find the what his warrant was, so that I have that fully. I'm having a hard time finding it. Hey, you're on the mic with the Pascal Show. What's your name and where are you coming from? Calling from?
Hi, this is Wintermute in Minneapolis.
Wintermute, how you doing? Hey.
I'm doing good. It was a long night.
Yes, it was. You live in Minnesota, correct?
I live a block off Lake Street where all of the smash and go was happening.
Oh, have mercy. So how you doing? How you holding up, sweetheart?
Pretty good, pretty good. There was a lot of gunfire last night. There were 2 victims of homicide, and then a young lady was also shot not too far from here.
Oh, my God.
What people don't understand, is during all of this, people are going around shooting at people, so...
Man. So the homicides were not, like, the killings, the people that were actually shot and murdered had nothing to do with the police. They were just people shooting other people, correct?
I think it's opportunism because it's kind of like the Wild West and the police are very busy, so they're doing things. And then there was 100 people looting the liquor store a couple blocks from my house. So,
boy, oh boy.
Basically, people are getting into arguments and fights and crashing their cars in the streets while all of this is going on.
Oh, my dear God.
I saw a probable cause slip that someone posted online today, and I'm not sure if it's real or official, but if it does turn out to be real and official, I just wanted to say this slip claims that Duante had a gun on the floor of his car, and it claims that the female passenger said that it was his gun. And so I'm not sure if the cops are going to claim that they saw that gun before they shot him or not. But apparently if that was a real police document, then they're going to claim that he had a gun.
Now, if he did have a gun in, like, on the floor of his car, right? Oh man, that would be, oh boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, obviously that would justify them for using force on him, of course. Because of course, you know, at the end of the day, it's him or them, right? There's also speculation, there's also a rumor floating around that his son or his child was in the back seat of the car as well. That's the other speculation, that it was his child and his baby mama was in the driver's seat and they were all together driving in the car, right?
Sounds like we've seen that before.
Yeah, it feels like, yeah, like I said, it's like I said in the other video, this is like a broken record, right? It just keeps repeating over and over and over again. But if that slip that you just said is actually true, and that he had a gun in the car, that would be really, really bad. That would be bad. But then it would, of course, justify in the police perspective why they would have to use deadly force on this man.
So I have a criminal justice degree in the state of Minnesota, and there is a continuum of force. And now the piece of paper, I think it was titled premeditation or probable cause slip.
Mm-hmm.
So it looked like something they fill out to describe probable cause. It said the gun was on the floor under his feet, but that doesn't mean that he hadn't been holding it and that it didn't fall down there. But in my opinion, with a continuum of force, an officer is only supposed to use a little bit more force than the person who is using force to counter them.
Right.
So in my opinion, if a person is not drawing down on the officer, in my opinion, I don't believe the officer should draw down on the person.
Interesting.
I don't think it's justifiable.
So you think, so you're saying that you think that even if he was lunging for the gun, even if he was going for the gun, they shouldn't have used deadly force on him. Is that what you're trying to say?
If he was going for the gun, that would be different. But if the police, for example, show the body cam,
right,
and it does not show this young man grabbing for the gun to shoot at them, and it simply shows the police processing the fact, oh, he has a gun, he's driving away, or he wants to get away, let's shoot him, I don't think that's justifiable shooting by the police.
You know, that's interesting because if you really think about it, how would that and Wintermute, thank you so much for calling in. Don't hang up. I'm just saying thank you for giving us this extra information because this is very helpful. But when you let's just say this real quick, right? If you are like, say I'm Duante, right? The cops say we got to take you in because you have a outstanding warrant for your arrest. From my understanding, it was some sort of thing with like possession of a deadly weapon or something of that sort. Like I said, this is all just hearsay. I'm trying to actually find the proof of what his warrant was. But if it was because of having possession of a deadly weapon and they already knew this beforehand, him going into the car, they would automatically assume that he was going to be turning around with a gun. Hence the reason why they shot him. But at the same time,
that would be called...
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Please.
Sorry. That would be called a felony stop.
Okay.
And they would be approaching his stop differently.
Gotcha. So this was just a regular routine traffic stop from the get-go, and that's it. Now, but it is weird, though, because it's almost as if they pulled him over. Why he gets out of the car, we don't know. All we know is that he gets out of the car, then goes back into the car. That's when he gets shot. Now, it's a matter of figuring out like why he like he's getting into the car. If you see what I'm saying, like he gets shot, he gets in the car and drives off, right? Several blocks as he bleeds out, basically. So if he's... But don't they usually, when they pull that person up, or when they pull that person over, at first they're pulling them over because of whatever, like, just a regular traffic stop, right? But then as they're going, hey, can I get your license, your registration, please, blah, blah, blah. It's because let's just say it's because your air fresheners, they're beyond the legal whatever. They're beyond legal they're beyond the regulation size of of what you need to have or what you can have hanging on the rear view. Let's just say that. They take his license, his registration. They go back into the car. They do the little clickety clack on their computer. They pull him up. They see that he has a warrant out for his arrest for whatever it might be, possession of a deadly weapon, right? Next thing you know, second squad car pulls up, because that's usually how it goes when they're about to arrest or detain somebody. So those cops come out and they're like, please, sir, we need to have you come out of your car. Please get out of the vehicle. Then he's sitting there going, and obviously this is all speculation, but he sits there and goes, why? Why am I getting arrested? What the F is going on? They go, oh, it's because you have a warrant out for your arrest right now for possession of a deadly weapon. Maybe he goes, oh, hell no, I ain't going nowhere. He turns back into the car. Maybe the door is already open. Maybe he opens the door and suddenly 5-0 squares up, fires off maybe one round as he's trying to jump back into the car. You see what I'm saying?
It'll be interesting to get more details.
See what I'm saying? So now we got all these people out here thinking the worst of the worst, because we don't have all the facts. So that's why you had a very long sleepless night, because of people running around shooting up the place, or not shooting up, looting up areas and bashing windows and actually shooting up the place too. But we don't know what's going on.
Well, one thing that I find is interesting is I'm just wondering whose car he was driving and whose plates, because if it was his car and his plates, when the officers stop him and look up the plates, they would already know they're making a felony warrant stop.
Dang.
And in Minneapolis, if you've heard of Dalal Eid, he was killed not too long ago around the New Year era. He had a vehicle and his weapon. The police knew when they stopped Dalal Eid that they were making a felony stop, and that he was armed. So the way they approach the traffic stop and the arrest is different, because they know they're stopping a allegedly a dangerous person who has a warrant out for their arrest for something serious that could lead to an altercation with the police, and the community would possibly be at risk. So normally if they go into this situation knowing that they're stopping someone who is a felony warrant, then they would basically treat the arrest differently, and they would call for backup right away. So if they're claiming that they stopped this person for air freshener, then it seems like maybe he was driving someone else's car, and when they looked up the license plates, maybe it was mom's car, maybe it was, I don't know whose car it was, but if it was his car, they should have known right away that the driver was wanted for a warrant.
Exactly.
So the warrant was for failure to show up in court.
The warrant was for failure to show up in court.
Yes,
Okay.
and the court had something to do with with weapons, with arms,
Yes.
I believe.
See, so it was because of possession of a deadly weapon. Clearly, he did not show up to court for that particular thing. Therefore, there was a warrant out for his arrest. Now, you are absolutely right. If he was pulled over, they would have already ran his plates before they even walked over to him in the first place. They would have known that, hey, he has a warrant out for his arrest for X, Y, and Z. So then it would have turned into, before they even pulled over, it would have turned into a felony, a felony traffic stop, or a felony. What did you say? Felony. What's it called again?
A felony stop.
Felony stop. So it would have instantly become that.
It's basically going to be a stop that has extra circumstances that's going to require extra treatment, to go the extra mile to be a little safer.
Yeah.
But see,
I'm tired.
It's okay.
I've been up all.
Wintermute, you are doing fantastic, and I really do appreciate you giving us this information because that's information that we do need. Like I said, whoever's watching this that is in Minneapolis or is going out to the streets and contributing to the protest or to the looting and rioting, please put out this information. Tell your people about these pieces of information. This is the reason why I opened up the phone lines. So thank you.
I guess my point was that if they knew from the get-go that this was a felony warrant stop and that they didn't go through the proper protocol to do this stop, then I think they messed up.
I think that there is...
Like, if they knew who they were stopping and they didn't go about the police protocol correctly, there's a possibility that they messed this up.
Yeah.
On their end with protocol.
I think there's going to be a dead giveaway on how long it takes them to put out the body cam footage. Or if they ever do put out the body cam or dash cam footage. Wait for it. I guarantee you, it all will be, the dead giveaway will be on how quickly they put out that body cam footage. If they put out that body cam footage with the quickness, then they feel like they're exonerating themselves. If it takes them a long time or they go, oh, we have to withhold it because we're still investigating, something did not go right. They did not follow
protocol. If they
protocol.
withhold it, there might be a case against them. So a little bit of commentary on why there's a possibility on why his body was left out so long. In Minnesota, the BCA, the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, they investigate police-related shootings. There's a possibility they had to leave his body there until the BCA could come and investigate it as a crime scene.
That's probably, and that's a good possibility as well, because it's the same thing that happened to, Michael Brown Jr. as well. He was there for a very long time because they were investigating the scene because it would turn into a crime scene. And of course, nothing came of that. That man, Darren Wilson, is still free and living his life. He's not a cop anymore, but he's still out there living his life. So that's the thing, when it comes to this, that's what I mean by, it all goes down to what they put out, how soon they put out the body cam footage, the fact that the mother, even the mother, her name is, hold on one second. Her name, I just had it, Katie Wright. The mother, Duante's mother, still doesn't know what happened. Even the mother doesn't know what's going on. All she knows is what she heard on the phone. She heard a scuffle, then gunfire. And then the phone line got cut off. And that's it. She went to the police. This is her son. She asked, what's going on?
Well, Minneapolis just paid out $27 or $25 million. So I think Brooklyn Center is covering its ass right now and not making any statements.
Oh, of course, because I'm sure they're trying to investigate, talk to the officers that were there, the officers that were involved in the shooting, find out what exactly what went down. I'm not going to sit here and say, they're trying to cover things up, but maybe they are. You never know. You never bloody know.
Somebody went on Facebook and they took a screenshot of what they claim is Duante's Facebook from 2015. It's got his name. It says 2015, and it's a picture of a stack of cash with a couple $100 bills over what looks like a handgun.
With a handgun,
so people are already out there digging for information on both sides.
And they're putting, even on his Facebook page, he has things like F the cops, F the popo, etc. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot that's being said out here about him because everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to become their own digital detective, their social media sleuth by putting out this information. And the thing is, we don't know everything yet. We don't have everything yet. You know what I mean? Now, there is something that I wanted to show you guys, because it is kind of heartbreaking as well. So Wintermute, I really do appreciate you giving us the information. I really do appreciate it. Now, I'll say this though too. Just because you take a photo with posing with a bunch of guns does not mean that you're somebody who's going to go and shoot up a place. I'll be honest with that. There are plenty of guys out here that hold their guns, that are proud of their guns, that I wouldn't sit here and say instantly mean that they're going to go and murder people. You see what I'm saying?
And just because I saw it online doesn't mean it's real.
Facts. That's true too. Now the photos that I've seen of him with the guns and the money, it's definitely him. It's definitely him. But I don't think it's automatically. I don't think it automatically means, when I get pulled over, I'm going to shoot up a bunch of cops. You see what I'm saying? And 5K to King just said, yeah, most of the time it's for show. Absolutely. You know what I mean? These guys are pulling out their money. It's like it's like one of those music video type things. Hip hop and rap artists do this stuff all day long. Doesn't mean that they're going to do anything. It's just they're trying to perpetuate that thing. That lifestyle, you know what I mean? Oh, I'm a rock star. I'm an outlaw. Look how bad I am, and I still get money and I still get girls. And that's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, Wintermute, thank you so much for the phone call. You just gave us a huge piece of information. And hey, when you get some time, get some sleep. All right?
All right. See you later.
Okay, talk to you soon. Bye. Hey, you're on the mic with the Pascal Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
What up, Pascal? It's your boy Conservative.
Conservative, what's up, man? How you doing, my brother?
What up? So I wanted, I got a couple of minutes. I got a couple minutes, so I'm not gonna take too much time.
Come on.
But to your original question, are the riots warranted? Should they be happening? As you're not surprised, my answer is an emphatic no, because this is how I see it.
Okay.
You are saying over and over and over, we don't know the whole story. You've been saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody with eyes sees we don't know the whole story. I don't know the whole story. The people that are rioting and doing all this and that do not know the whole story. So when I look at it, I say they're rioting out of ignorance. They're rioting out of ignorance because they don't know the whole story. So it is a bad look on Black Lives Matter movement, even though I know it's not all of those people that are doing that, but it is a bad look because the story's not even out yet. We don't know the details like we're all saying. So right off the bat, I see, the rioting as overall unjustified, and it just doesn't make sense why you're going to go destroy somebody else's livelihood, have to make somebody else have to go tap into their insurance policy to rebuild their building or to replace all their inventory. Why are you going to go destroy somebody else's life or make somebody else's life a lot harder because of something that happened that didn't even involve them? So I will forever be a one who's severe. Like, I'm really against rioting. I almost see no reason why rioting should happen unless there was a true, egregious, undeniable act, which I don't see here, or not even I don't see here. We don't even know. And I don't like MLK when he said riots are the voice of the lawless. With all due respect, hear me out. I think that he lived in a time where black folk and black, the whole race of black people were literally not heard in such a way that his saying was true. Like, we're not being heard. We were not heard through, the first half of the 1900s.
Right.
So when he said what he said, I'm like, okay, that makes sense in that context because there was clear, undeniable oppression and racism against black people. Therefore, I see his comments in that day being fitting. Okay, riots are the voice of the unheard. Fast forward to 2021, and I've had friends use this phrase, oh, riots are the voice of the unheard. And I look at it, and I don't see the voice of the unheard when I look at the riots. I see the voice of the lawless. I see the voice of looters. I see the voice of people, and even some people on your feed have been saying this, they're opportunistic criminals. Like, they're exploiting some of these situations to go commit crime. So in 2021, I don't really see MLK's quote applicable here, because every time I look out and see looting, I see black businesses being destroyed. I see people who had no involvement in the incident getting their livelihood either destroyed or put on hold because now they have to go rebuild. I mean, down here in Tampa, there was one big riot at University Mall. You guys can go check this out. There was a University Mall riot, and there were people that their businesses were ramshacked, and living here, seeing these businesses don't just get erected out of nowhere. This is like a long sequence of decision making for a business owner to open up their doors, especially on a storefront, at a mall. So to riot and take that away from them, I will never condone it, because I think, like you said earlier, even though I don't fully agree, you make a good point. What if we change? What if the energy was directed in a different manner? Instead of doing this, what if it was directed in a non-violent way? What would happen? So those are my thoughts about rioting, and I want to.
Okay.
I follow this. Last thing I'll comment on.
Shoot.
I follow this. The channel. It's called Police Activity, and it's really good because it shows a whole spectrum of incidences involving officers. Yesterday, I came across a video of a New Mexico officer. His name is Darian Durant. All right, New Mexico officer. He did a routine traffic stop similar to the lieutenant's traffic stop.
Yeah.
Windows were tinted. The New Mexico officer walks up to the car, tells the guy. He actually did the opposite of what the officers in Windsor, Virginia did. He got out and told the person, "Hey, your windows are tinted. I need license, registration, blah blah blah." So the New Mexico officers, he's checking all the boxes, right? So he gets the suspect to get out the car and walk with him to his car, and bro, no lie, in 5 seconds, dude pulls out an AR-15, blasts the cop on the side of the road, drives off. And Pascal, it happened. The officer went from thinking he's going to go run this guy's registration to 5 seconds later, an AR-15 is being pointed at him, and he's shot and killed on the side of the road. And this is all, you guys could go look at this on Police Activity. The reason why I bring that up, is because we can sit here and make all these judgments, but at the same time, the ones who are putting their lives on the line, if they make a 2-second delay decision, they are gone. They're dead. And the police officers don't know who's who.
Right.
It's like trying to figure out who's a crook, who's not. Who's about it, who's not.
Everybody's a suspect type of thing. Like, everyone's a suspect.
Well, not everybody's a suspect, but it's more of like the unknown. I don't know who's dangerous.
Yeah, no one can be trusted. Yeah, no one can be trusted.
Kind of, yes. So with that said, I look at the riots, and I wholeheartedly reject the riots. And then I look at situations that happened in New Mexico, and I watch the officer, think it was going a certain way, and then in the course of 5 seconds, it goes dramatically different. So when we look at this incident that happened with Wright, we don't have the footage, but who is to say that the young man going back to the car? I mean, if I was a police officer and I pulled somebody over, and I know I'm not a cop, okay, I get that. But if I was and I pulled somebody over, tried to detain them, they resisted, then they went back to the car, I'm really not going to wait to see what they pull out, because at that point, you're waiting for your own life to possibly end if you wait.
Right.
So that's how I see it.
Okay.
You know, that's how I see it. And yeah,
Well,
I mean, I would like to hear you speak to it.
Yeah. Okay. So first off, I do agree with you on certain levels. Okay. First off, yes, there are most definitely opportunistic people out there that are out here in the riots, you know, posing as protesters. Are like, oh, we're doing this in the name of Duante Wright. Sure. You see what I'm saying? They're definitely going, oh, we're doing everything we can for Duante Wright. As they smash a window and grab a couple pairs of Nikes. You know what I'm saying? Or as they loot a Verizon wireless store and get as many cell phones they can, you know, grab with one hand. Definitely there are those kinds of people out there for sure. But then there are other people out there that are rioting because they're just angry and tired of the BS, but they're all mixed in with each other. That's what I think. But then I think the people that are truly there for to seek justice for Duante Wright or any other man or woman that is a hashtag, they're usually right there in the front lines yelling at the police, saying what they're saying. You see what I'm saying? But I feel like it's a lot of, you know, I feel like there's a lot of mixture going on. So you got people that are in there for their own selfish reasons, opportunistic sons of guns, okay, that are going out there doing things that they shouldn't be doing. They should have just left their ass at home because they're not here for this, right? And then there's the other people out here that are actually out there because they're just sick and tired of seeing their brothers and sisters die at the hands of the cops, right? So I do agree with you on that there is a mix, but I won't sit here and say that they're all of them are doing this. All of them have the same agenda. You see what I'm saying? It like I said, it's
definitely not.
It's it's a full on cornucopia. You know what I'm saying? A compilation of all kinds of different people and different energies, and all of them have different agendas, you know, etc. You know what I mean? So I think that's one of those things that. I think that's one of the things that we got to play as put in that part. You know, yes, there is definitely people out here that are out here trying to get their fair share that they can sell on Amazon or eBay. You feel me? But at the same time, I do feel like the majority of it is anger towards, once again, another man being killed, another person dying. Then let's go back to what you said about the cops, right? I understand what you're saying when it comes to being a police officer. You are constantly, every single day that you put on that uniform and step out your front door, you are at risk of a multitude of things. And yes, within split seconds, you could literally die. You know, you could literally lose your life, especially if you're a man or woman that is a family person. You can, you know, the day that you kiss your child goodbye for the day could be the last time you do it as well. So there's always that hairline trigger reaction to situations that I feel like are understandable, but also detrimental and also tragic. Now, I understand when you say like, hey, this routine traffic stop went from him just doing a routine traffic stop to the guy pulling out an AR-15 and blasting this dude away. That's absolutely horrendous. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. But you also got to remember, I mean, not every single person that you pull over is going to be that. But I understand the cops have to got to constantly have their head on a swivel and be ready. This also gets to the point this also comes back to the point of we don't know why he was shot. We still don't know. It could have been a full-on misunderstanding, or it could have been something else. You see what I'm saying? So like I said, in the very beginning, I agree with some of the things that you're saying, for sure. I can't sit here and go, every single time that there's looting, these are all just opportunistic people that are out here doing this. I think that there's more to this than just that. I think that there's a mix, and that's what sucks about this. You can't really say, oh, it's definitely this and it's definitely that and that's what it is. That's it. You know what I mean? Wash your hands and walk away from the situation. There is this a mixture of so many different things going on. Because you also got to remember, If they're just there to loot and riot, why do they care about grabbing some sneakers? Why don't they just burn everything? You see what I'm saying? So there's those people who are grabbing those things as an opportunity. But then there's the other people out here that just want to burn the mother lover down because they're angry.
Yeah.
And that's all in that mix. You see?
Yeah. And that's the hard part is figuring out who's who.
Right.
Which is, you know, we do that in our own lives. We got to figure out who do we trust, who do we not trust.
Yes. But
you know what?
And that's what sucks, because now we live in a time where we all have to have our head on a swivel. All of us. Even so, we don't even know, you know, there are good apples and bad apples in the police force, but we don't know which ones they are. So when we get pulled over, we're instantly, I'm sorry, even myself, even before all this stuff was becoming a thing, even more, you know, in the forefront of things, I still, every time I get pulled over, I'm like, this could be my last day on this planet because of something being lost in translation. You see what I'm saying? It's a scary time, but now it's even more scary. It's a scarier time right now because it is like the Wild West, like Winter Mute just said, you know, but it's the Wild West everywhere, you know. But hey, conservative, I appreciate your phone call, man. You know what I mean?
Hey, bro.
Appreciate
and
your
I appreciate your show. I saw somebody try to throw some shade on you last week and say you're a political pundit. You are not, which is why I like which is why I like listening to you.
Thank you.
And I think obviously just like me, I have my own bias. You have your own bias.
Right.
But I think at the heart of your show, I think the reason why I listen is because I see a dude who genuinely is a good guy. And I think that if there were more people who spread the message like you, like when you end your videos, your pop-up videos, be good to yourself, be good to other people. If there were more people like you, and I would say us, because, you know, whatever, you know, you or some of the people take away from some of the comments I put, genuinely, I do want to be good to other people, and I want them to be good to themselves and other people. So I tune in because I genuinely feel that about you. And I don't care that we disagree on politics, because at the end of the day, politics is what it is.
Right.
So I appreciate that. And that's why I stay tuned in, because I see the frame in the heart of a good man. So you're doing a great job, bro. Appreciate
Thank you.
Keep it up.
Appreciate you too, conservative. I appreciate it, man. You stay up. I'll talk to you
sir.
soon. I'll be talking to you.
Yes, sir. Peace.
All right, man. Peace. Yeah, I mean, you know, first off, thank you so much for the phone call so far. You know, Winter Mute called in. I didn't get a chance to really say thank you to her. That information was very, very crucial. But I also have to say, you know, thank you to conservative, because, you know, not everybody on this show that calls in or watches the show is going to agree with me. You know what I mean? Nor do I want them to. You know what I'm saying? This is a discussion. So I appreciate everybody in all perspectives calling in. Hey, you're on the mic with the Pascal Show. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, man? It's Tyler. How you doing today?
What's up, man? How you doing, my brother?
I'm fair for a square, man. I'm fair for a square. I can't complain.
That's good. What's on your mind? Speak on it.
I was watching the show, and I was thinking, man, I don't know if, you know, us as black men, if we know the law. Like, I think when cops approach us, we almost have this tendency to be intimidated or afraid because we don't know what they can do to us. You know what I mean? So we kind, and then in another sense, man, like if I'm not trying to say if you're doing dirt, but if you're doing dirt,
right,
you shouldn't be riding around with guns, and you know what I'm saying. You kind of keep your dirt under your nails. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Like it's too much of that.
No.
It's
Tyler, I agree with it 100%. Right? Like if you're gonna go out there, if you're gonna be riding around dirty, why have like kilos of cocaine in the back of your car? You know what I mean? Why have a pistol in the glove compartment or under the seat, under the driver's side seat? You know what I'm saying? Why do all that extra stuff if you know that you either have broken the law or you are breaking the law? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's kind of like that movie American Gangster, Denzel Washington. He was like, hide in plain sight. You know, he was like, this is why I don't wear the fur coats. This is why I don't do this, that, and the third. And that's a true story. She was just a regular, plain ass dude, but he flew under the radar the entire time, right? And
he got caught because of the fur.
Exactly, he got caught because he was peacocking, baby. So it's like, okay, you know what I mean? This is what you get. See what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, stop trying to live the life of like, you know, the popping pills, the showboating, the money calling photos with the stacks around your ears and, you know, showing off your guns and all that. You are just putting yourself out there to get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Period. But go ahead, please, Tyler.
That's what I can't understand. It seems like us, because I'm like in my 40s. I think that we didn't teach like the younger kids, because I remember having mentors like older cats. They were bad and good. But you know what I'm saying? They taught me right and wrong. And then they said, whatever you decide, you now have all the facts. I've given you everything that you need to know. When you make this decision, it's on you, because now you know everything. Yeah. I don't think that young people have that nowadays, or they don't want to listen to it. Like, I hear a lot of people saying, like, well, young people don't want to listen to us. But, like, I didn't, like, really, I listened to my older people, but you know what I'm saying? I still did what I wanted to do. I don't understand where that changed at. I think that's our problem now. Like, the young people don't want to listen to us. But like, I was coming up, the old people told me, you listen to me because you want to be where I'm at.
Right.
You ain't at where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like, it's just funny now.
But isn't it funny how every generation says that about the upcoming generation, though? Isn't that funny how we all say that? At some point when we get older, we all look back and be like, oh, these youngins don't listen no more. Or these youngins are hypersexualized, or these youngins are just going out here banging, shooting out and gang banging all the time. Isn't it funny? We've been saying that since I don't even know how long. They were saying that about my generation. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's funny? I almost told, like, because I came up in the era when sagging first started. I almost told this dude yesterday to pull up his pants. I'm like, wait a minute. My uncle used to say that to me. Oh, Lord, I'm getting old.
See what I'm saying? And now it's like, oh, man, I'm getting old, bruh. Man, I'm getting old. But that's some real stuff. You got people out here.
Yeah.
You got people out here. You got people out here that are saying the same thing about these kids right now. Like for example, Duante Wright, who, clearly, if he had a gun in the car, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he did, I wish that, well, it's also this other thing, Tyler. It's also this other thing, though. It's not only, I'm sorry, I was reflecting on what you said in the very, very beginning. Because you said, we need to start knowing, all of us need to start knowing what the law is and what cops can and cannot do. That's something that we need to know. Not only what they can do, but what they cannot do. Right?
Yeah. So and the cops really need to learn the law too, because it seems like a lot of times the cops kind of overextend their reach in a lot of the time. I mean, in a lot of situations too. But
absolutely. Yeah. But what's interesting is we also need to know how to react to the police. Like, I almost feel like there needs to be a crash course or a seminar or something like that, where it's like how to deal with Popo 101. And you go in there and like, hey, don't try to go back into the car, because as soon as you go into the car, you're a dead man. You put your hands behind your back, as long as they're not doing anything that is breaking your personal laws, not breaking any certain amendments that you have, et cetera, you comply, get detained, etc. You know what I mean? And then you deal with it in court. But I feel like a lot of these things, we don't get these. There's not a lot of like crash course learning of how to deal with police. Or when you hear you're going to get arrested, you are under arrest for missing this court date, which is what, Wintermute just gave us that information, why that warrant was out there for his arrest. Instead of freaking out, he should have just put his hands behind his back and just said, man, this is some BS, man. And that's it. But he didn't. Yeah, he jumped for the gun. He jumped for the car. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Tyler.
What's funny, that was my fault. I didn't mean that. I was listening to the last caller, and he was talking about Ice Cube and the Predator album.
Right.
And what, like, I almost lost my train of thought. And what I was thinking is, like, it built up. Like, we just so quick to jump to stuff, like, before we even really know what's happening. Like, and we almost waste. I don't want to say waste the protest, but it's almost null and vain because now you're gonna look and be like, well, maybe he did do something, and and it brings doubt to the other side, to the cops. Like, see, he was breaking the law. That's why we did what we did to him, because he was doing this. And like, it seems like we just wasting our anger for no for no reason. I don't know. It's just crazy to me. It seems like we need to be more tight to get. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah,
we need to think it's reacting. That's what we do. We don't really think anymore. We react. Unfortunately,
I mean, that's what it seems like for a lot of these situations. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, man, if Jacob Blake didn't run around the car and try to go for the front door and open up the door, maybe he wouldn't be paralyzed right now. Maybe he wouldn't have 8 bullets in the back of his back. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not sitting here. I'm not trying to get into that conversation or anything of like whether he should have been or not. But at the same time, if he just stayed where he was, he wouldn't have been shot. He wouldn't have been shot multiple times. But I feel like that is the ongoing case. We don't have those kind of those kinds of conversations, maybe those conversations that we're not having with our children. You see what I'm saying? Especially us in the black community. We need to have these conversations, whether we hate to have it. It's funny because as much as we sit here and say in comedy, we see it in comedy all the time. You know, the most difficult conversation in the world is talking to your kids about, or the most difficult conversation to have with your kids is talking about the birds and the bees. Well, funny thing is that's an easier conversation than actually talking to your child about driving while black, getting pulled over while black, and what to do when you actually get pulled over, what the proper procedure you need to do. We don't have those things. We don't have those conversations with our kids, which is what I think needs to happen more often than, or just as often as you are talking about the, hey son, I understand you're going to be running around getting it. So, just wear a Jimmy hat. You know what I'm saying? I said Jimmy hat. Yes, I did. Yeah, that's that's a
Jimmy
throwback.
Hat.
But you see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Make sure you wear it when it rains outside. You wear a raincoat, right, son? Exactly. See what I'm saying? But we have those conversations, but we don't have those conversations, the other conversation, which also could take your life to, which is, when you get pulled over, how do you do this? What is the proper way of doing this? We don't do that. We barely have that conversation. Go ahead, Tyler.
I used to work in a jail, actually. And the one thing I will say, man, is how we kind of talk to the cops. And I don't want to say you have to be a yes, sir, and sir, but respect goes a long way. If you say yes and no, and here's my license, what you want. And I mean, it kind of does, and I know it's not fair, like we should be able to speak how we want to, but it kind of does help the situation, you know what I'm saying? Because it almost calms the cop down. Like, okay, he's respectful, so he's not going to literally try and do anything too fast, you know what I'm saying, and unless it escalates. But I think even how they approach us and our fear, like I think that plays a lot into it too, our fear of not knowing what they're going to do, you just got to be calm and respectful, you know what I'm saying? I ain't saying subservient, but just respectful, right? And know your rights.
That's it. You know what? You're absolutely right. But that's the thing. We need to have that conversation with our children. We got to start them young so that when they get older, they know exactly what needs to happen. And then also if you get pulled over, right, and your children are with you, you show that. You show that this is the standard procedure on how to do this so that you don't end up getting shot, so you don't end up dying. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. I feel like we should all have our PhDs in law, especially when it has to do with being pulled over, knowing what you cannot do, etc. I know you can't put your hands on me unless you have a reason to. Do you have a warrant for my arrest, etc., etc.? There needs to be certain things. We need to be a connoisseur up in this piece now more than ever. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, you're absolutely right.
We should all be our own esquires, our own freaking lawyers. Real talk. That'd be funny, right?
Yeah, Ron Scooby, you absolutely right. We should.
You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, you're talking to your boy. No, man, that's violating X, Y, Z in the Roe versus Wade situation because of this, that, and the third. You'd be like, whoa, how does he know all this information, bruh? Damn, he knows all this information. Yeah. Man, he's brilliant. It's like, damn right.
Yeah,
damn right. You know your stuff.
I think that's literally how we're gonna do it. Like Denzel said, it's chess, it's not checkers. We kind of have to, outthink them. You know what I mean? Instead of using our force, especially because we're not winning.
No, we are not. Winning. We are not, and we need to start getting smart. We need to start getting. We need to start reading. We need to start learning. You know what I'm saying?
I'm wondering if we could reach out to more black officers and they could kind of, almost have videos like that. That like, this is how, when a cop approaches you, this is how you talk to him.
Bruh,
you know what I mean? And I really think that we need to start policing ourselves. Like, there needs to be more black male teachers and like police officers. Definitely.
I do agree with that. One thing I wish that there would be more of. I don't know if you. Okay, when I was growing up, there was a DARE program. All right, so I'm a child of the '80s, and they had the DARE
Drug
program,
awareness, resistance
education.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes. So they and a cop would come in, and they would do like a week-long course on like drugs and how you shouldn't be doing them, and then right. So why aren't they doing the same thing for kids when you get pulled over? You see what I'm saying? A 101 crash course in the very beginning, so that we know
what's funny?
What's going on. Yeah,
I'm sorry, I mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Where I'm from in Ohio, we always have kind of a cop in our school building, and he would interact, and he would literally do that even from like middle school to high school, and it would almost be the same cop. It would go with the classes. It was kind of fun. I don't know if they're still doing it in Ohio. I left Ohio, but yeah, we used to do that. So it almost, and it was a brother too in our case. So when we got older, we kind of seen him on the streets. And like, I don't want to say he was cool, but he was cool. We felt a little bit more at ease or comfortable talking to him. You know what I mean? Compared to like, I don't think a lot of officers interact with their community anymore either. That's a big problem too.
That is a big problem, but at the same time, please don't do another lip sync thing of you doing 24 karat magic. I don't have any time like you in the police department doing that BS. F all that crap. You know what I'm saying? That's not me. That's not making me feel like, I just saw your viral video and you're pulling me over. This is crazy, man. Wow, you're not going to hurt me. No. Like, I don't care. They're still going to do bad things. You see what I'm saying? So that's something that needs to happen before anything else. Like the relationship between the community and the police department definitely needs to exist at some point. But I really do truly believe that there needs to be like courses or a class or something. And it's not just one time. You know what I mean? It's not like the DARE program was one time, bruh. It was like, I think it was like a 2-week program, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that. This is something that I feel like has to be repetitive because we forget. Let's be real. All of us that were products of the 80s or, born in the 80s, all of us knew about DARE. We all went through DARE. We all knew drugs awareness, resistance, education. We all knew that drugs are bad, and yet we still have people dying of opioid addiction on the streets. So I don't know about that. Yeah. And that was only one crash course, very young, at a very young age. This is something that I feel needs to be a set up reminder. You know what I'm saying? That it's like, hey guys, just so you know, don't get riled up when you get pulled over. This is what you need to do. X, Y, and Z. I just feel like those things need to be implemented so much, driven into our brains so that
definitely.
We don't have more people dying. And if they do get shot or something devastating does happen, we know who to point the blame at instantly.
Exactly.
Instead of, it's because he lunged he went into the car, and we already know. It's like, bruh, come on. Until we up until we see the actual body cam footage. Right now, we're going, damn.
Right.
He had to go and do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a death wish right there.
You're absolutely right.
But Tyler, I appreciate you calling in, man. I appreciate the 2 cents, man. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate the show, man. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, my brother. You stay up.
All right, man. Be safe.
You too. Peace. Yeah, I mean, Tyler said some really great stuff in there. You know what I mean? And I feel like that is a thing that we need to start doing. One, we definitely need to know the law. We definitely need to know what is the law, what is okay, what is not okay, especially when getting pulled over, for sure. You know, I think that's something that we definitely need to make sure that we have. Hey, you're on the mic with the Pascal show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Pascal. It's Siri.
Siri from Germany. How you doing, sweetheart? How you doing?
I'm doing really well. On a side note, I got my jumper today. I posted the pictures in the Discord.
Oh, you got your what today?
The jumper I won.
Oh, the hoodie. Yes.
The Nutcracker jumper.
Yes, great. Oh, I haven't seen it yet, but I'll check it out once the show is over. But what's and I'm glad you got it.
One size truly fits all.
Say again, what?
Well, I just said one size truly fits all. We squashed everybody into it.
That's awesome.
But what I'm calling about is less about this specific incident, because I feel I don't know anything about this incident sufficiently to understand what happened.
Right.
You know, I understand that people are very anxious, very upset, but me personally, I don't know. You know, nobody knows what happens. I'll reserve my thoughts to when there's been an investigation and we start to see evidence of what actually occurred. However, in principle, there is one thing I really get annoyed at. Every time something like this happens, and there's a discussion about somebody got really hurt or injured or killed, and people get upset.
Yeah.
And then violence erupts. Invariably, there is always, from the conservative side, it always comes up, well, but rioting is wrong. And then everybody has to stop talking about the underlying issues, and everybody has to say, yes, rioting is wrong, and we all know that, and it completely derails any discussion of why is the rioting happening. Everybody has to sit down and wave the white flag. Well, you know what? Thinking that rioting is wrong is not exactly a fringe position. 99.9% of people are well aware that lighting stuff on fire is not productive. Why do we have to keep... You know, it's like when there's any attack that involves anybody of Muslim faith, every Muslim in the world has to come out and disavow violence. So if a riot breaks out, everybody who is even potentially left-leaning or has... You know, or the entire black community has to send everybody out and say again, and it eats up the actual conversation. Why is this happening is the important thing.
Right.
And understanding why it's happening doesn't mean we want people to light stuff on fire.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I guess then, what do you think? How do we get that message across then? You know, that is the main question I've been asking so far throughout these conversations and these phone calls. You know, which is the main question is, how do we get that point across so that they understand, instead of, because I feel like at some point you do enough rioting, you do enough looting, things get ignored, because all of a sudden they're just going, there they go again, rioting and doing whatever they're doing. Here we go. You know what I mean? Instead of, no, these people are very upset about this particular situation. So how can we say what we need to say without rioting? Because peaceful protesting doesn't seem to be doing anything as well. So what are your thoughts on that, Siri?
Well, the thing is, there is no quick fix when you get to a situation that things are so bad that massive amounts of people are going outside and burning stuff.
Right.
There's nothing you can say or, you know, implement within a month to fix that. And it's not as if this hasn't been going on for decades. We've seen flaring up of violence continuously for decades. And none of the structural issues have been fixed. Mm-hmm. And so to expect that we're going to fix, everybody always wants peace and quiet really quickly. Of course everybody wants peace and quiet really quickly. We don't want riots in the street. That's insane. However, once the rioting has died down, people are always like, oh, fixed it. It's quiet again. Well, just because it's quiet again doesn't mean you fixed it. if you have a boil and it's healed over, doesn't mean it's not going to rupture again and start pussing. But the first thing I think is, when we get into these situations and we're discussing them, I think one thing we should do is, when somebody walks in and says, well, but you really shouldn't be condoning the violence, just tell them to shut up. Right. We know. We've been there. We've discussed this. We don't have to take the bait every bloody time for every red herring talking point. Whites get killed more than blacks. Yes, we've been through that. We've done the math. We're not doing this again. Well, but white people get killed too. Yes, we've been through that. We've done the math. Police officers get into bad situations too. Yes, we know that. We've been through that. We've done the math. You understand what I mean? It's the same things, and we don't have to rediscuss everything that has been discussed just because somebody throws out a red herring that everybody in the room knows how to solve this discussion and where the discussion will lead, and then complete pandemonium breaks out, and it has no point. Just say no.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I feel like the other problem is that people are still peacefully protesting, right? And still to this day, I mean, it's completely being ignored. No matter how many ways we look at it, we're not getting what I think a lot of us are trying to achieve here.
Oh yes,
we're just still, same stories happening as much as they say, if they say something like, as far as police reform and et cetera, it's like, well, is that actually happening? Are they doing anything in regards to that? We've already lost many, many people, at the hands of the police. What are they doing to resolve or find a solution to this issue? So far, we haven't found anything. We haven't received anything. We're still in the streets, mostly peacefully protesting. Mostly, But then there's also the looting out here that just gives gives protesters a really, really bad look.
Well, but you know what? Yes, these people give protesters a bad look, but only if we give protesters the bad look. If you're not throwing rocks and not lighting stuff on fire, why you have a bad look? You're not doing anything wrong.
Right.
People don't, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. That's the bait, the conversational bait from people who want to not deal with issues. They want to put that shoe on people and say, look, this guy standing 3 streets over is doing this and that. Well, that's not my bloody fault.
Right.
I can't control other people. And that's the thing. I understand that what I'm saying is very dissatisfactory because it's not a solution. What can we do? But I'm just saying that just in a principled sense, to not let people control the discussion continually with red herrings. There has to be a point when we say, this is not a serious argument, this is stupid, and we will not engage. Because not every issue needs, it's always this, we need to be fair and balanced. You know what? Some things are not fair and balanced. Some things are relatively clear. We don't need to, not everybody's opinion is valid. I know we all have a right to say things, but other people also have the right to say, this is stupid, shut up.
That's true.
And I just think as long as people who are liberal and are trying to progress are tied up in giving people space in discussions that they have no business in because they have nothing to contribute, and get tied up in disavowing all kinds of things that they have absolutely nothing to do with, that is a tactic to keep people from progressing forward in the discussion and actually coming up with solutions.
Yeah.
But everything is always a two-side issue, or this relativism. Oh, the other side does it too. No, there is a structural difference between behaviors. going outside and demonstrating is not the same as having an insurrection. Not the same. We don't need to discuss this because we all know this.
That's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
But I do find it very interesting that you look at something that happened in January, and then you look at the situation that happened over here in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, I'm sorry, and you look at what's going on and how quickly they were swatted up, how quickly squadrons of police, for crying out loud, came through. You know, an armada of police officers were ready, suited and booted, ready to be there in riot gear for whatever was about to transpire. But then you look at what happened in the 6th, not so, I mean, you know, it took forever for anybody to get out there. They had to call in the National Guard, and they were thinking about it, going, is this a good look or not? And it's kind of like, wow, this is very interesting. A very interesting situation.
Well,
go ahead.
And we all know I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
You're okay.
But we all know if we're honest, we all know that a crowd of dark-skinned people terrifies the living daylight out of white people, whereas a crowd of white people does not terrify white people. Think of all the types of riots that have broken out over sporting events. Every time there is a major game and somebody loses and somebody wins,
oh yeah,
you can check afterwards there's riots. But not every white baseball fan or football fan or hockey fan has to go on national television disavowing the violence. The functionaries of the sports leagues don't have to come. It's, you know, because why? Because a lot of these sports leagues are majority white fans rioting. And it's like our perception of what we feel is scary is influenced not by the mechanism of why is this happening or the legitimacy of, you know, sometimes people are angry because they have a genuine reason to be angry. Mm-hmm. And yes, it is human nature not to be productive. When you get angry and frustrated, and it has gone on for years and years and years and years and years, how do we expect people to be reasonable? That is insane. That in itself is not reasonable. To tell people we're going to make you go through the same thing for generations, for decades, and every time you think you may get a step forward, you're going to get pushed back. But you're going to have to be reasonable. That's not reasonable.
Right.
That in itself is a radical position. Expecting human nature not to happen is, it's like, and everybody's always like, well, Martin Luther King said, every white person loves Martin Luther King. And it's like, Jesus Christ, that was one man, and you know what he went through? So what did he get out of that? So it's like, you're expecting people to behave better than Mother Mary for hundreds of years. That's not a reasonable position. That's crazy talk. And I'm not saying it's okay, please go out and burn stuff. I'm saying if we want it to stop, don't put it on people who can't fix the situation. Put it on the people who can fix the situation. If laws are in place that are so ridiculous that people get so scared and frustrated that they start rioting in the streets, then the problem is the people making the laws that put people in a situation structurally that enough people are so terrified that they think this is the only way they can survive. Let's put the blame where the blame is. So how about we ask City Hall what they think they're going to do about it? Not the people who have police influence.
Yeah.
How about we write our senators and our governors letters saying, what the hell are you going to do about this? Put the blame where the blame is. The blame is with the people that have the power and that can make the decisions. Why is nothing happening in the Senate? Why has nothing happened in the Senate for years?
Yeah, that's the ongoing question, because we have people out here, like we've been talking about, people out here that have been peacefully protesting, that have been saying things, but for some odd reason, still nothing's changing. We still have these issues. You know, like this next story that I'm going to be going into here very shortly. You know, the same thing happened to a black and Latino Army lieutenant. Same type of brutality or, you know, excessive force, unnecessary force that was put on him, you know, and yet still nothing has happened. How many bodies do we need to pile up for the government to do anything about this stuff that's going on in these streets? That's what I mean by like, oh, we got people out here all day long that are peacefully protesting all day, peacefully protesting, and still nothing's happened. Still, but then then we loot and riot, and then they all of a sudden they just look at that and go, see, those protesters, all they want to do is get a free pair of Nikes, and it's like, no, that's not the case. They want justice, they want a solution, and they want it now. But interesting how quickly, you know, there was a lot of brutality, and there's still brutality going on with towards Asians in this country. But they were quick to sign a bill about that. That was weeks into it. As soon as the media started talking about it, they did something about it. This has been going on forever, and still nothing's happened. Nothing's changed, Siri. It's insane.
I know. I'm just as flummoxed by it as you are. However, I have to add, though, this lieutenant who got himself arrested, I don't see it. I have a completely... I was talking to Lady Justice about that. My reaction to that incident, it was so different. I even showed it to people and was like, am I just biased? I don't see why that officer got fired. In this specific case, when you look at the half-hour video of this incident, I'm sorry, I don't know the man, but I think he's a prat. The guy that got himself arrested.
Interesting. Whoa.
I do not see what people are getting so upset about. I honestly don't. He's driving. When he stops, when you look at the video, the police had to tell him 3 times to turn off his motor. Now, I'm sorry, it's not hard to just turn off your motor. You watch him on his own phone, he's chewing gum, he's setting up his phone, but he's not turning off his car. How is that complying? You've been driving for a mile and a half, and I get the principle of wanting to get somewhere lit. But once you get there, why aren't you turning off your engine? Yeah. You know that's going to happen. You know, I mean, if he had acted that way on post, going through a checkpoint, he would have landed with his face on the ground, a boot on his head, and a gun to his head. Because and I'm sorry, this man he says he's a soldier. Well, you know what, how is the cop supposed to know? Anybody can buy a uniform. You see a car, and the policeman later explains to him, he says, you drove right past the lit area. I understand you want to get to a lit area, but there was another lit area, you didn't stop there. You wanted to be at this petrol station. Okay, got it. But why didn't you comply? And just because he's wearing a uniform, anybody can buy a uniform. But he did not have regulation facial hair. You are not allowed to have a chin beard in the military. So all the cop can see who happens to be a military veteran is a man in a uniform not complying, who does not look like a soldier because he's got a beard he's not supposed to be having, and who is not complying. And everybody says, oh, the police didn't de-escalate. Well, I don't know what de-escalating is, but the police drew guns. They realized he wasn't going to shoot at them, so they went down to a taser. Once they realized he wasn't going to lunge at them, they went down to pepper spray. That, in my eyes, is de-escalation.
Interesting.
They stepped down the force according to the situation. You can clearly see, too, as the younger policeman tries to open the door, he pulled it back shut from the inside.
He did. He did. Now, I'll say...
How is that...
Okay, go
How
ahead.
is that complying?
So this is the
he had a gun in the car.
Yeah.
He had not shown them any ID or identified him. He had not said what unit he was in. They can.
Right.
How are they supposed to know he is not some crazy person who just happened to buy a uniform off some Army Navy store, is driving around looking for attention, and wants good lighting so he can get a good video of his suicide mission? How are they supposed to know that?
Right.
And everybody's like, oh, he's a lieutenant. Well, you know what? He's a lieutenant. He should know better. He should know how to behave.
Yeah. So there is no there is no disagreement on that end, right? And of course, I'm going to be jumping into that story here very shortly. But here it is. Siri, thank you so much for the phone call. I really do appreciate it. I will answer that here in a second. No, it's okay. Again. No, you're not. No. I just know that I got to get to that next story. So let me jump on that. But I do appreciate it. Yes, go ahead, Siri.
One very last thing I just have to add. When they tried to get him to lie down, the first thing he said was, I want to talk to your supervisor, which is, I would just like to add, from my view, lieutenants are the Karens of the military. They always are. So that was just so typical. And they got the supervisor. They gave him a choice. He took a choice. They said, you can either say you want to take this to court and then we'll charge you, and then you might get in trouble with, double jeopardy in the military, or you choose to say, I want to walk away, then we won't charge you and we just walk away. He chose the second option, not to get in trouble, and then he goes back and sues. Well, great.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about this in the next right now, but Siri, thank you so much for the phone call, okay? Thank you so much.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Anytime, sweetheart. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
I understand I understand not the last part of what Siri said, but I do understand the perspective of, all right, all he needed to do was comply. All he needed to do was comply, right? Now, the thing is that there's a lot more to this. In my personal opinion, there's a lot more to this than just this guy. I'm going to show you Gutierrez, Officer Joe Gutierrez, just getting a little it's more than just this Nazario not quote unquote complying. There's a lot more to this story to me than what everybody else is seeing. And I understand, and I'm not going to knock what Siri said, because there's a lot of people out there that feel what Siri just said. Like, hey, as long as if he could just comply, this wouldn't have been the situation. This situation would not have transpired. Now, the thing is with this thing, it all started with how they came in super hot. They were coming in hot. This was a routine traffic stop. This was not a felony stop. This was a traffic stop. Routine. Right? You hear it in on the radio as the dispatcher is talking to him and all of that. It is a traffic stop. Yet they come out just ready to go. Guns out, ready to do some bad to this man. Okay? Whether he was really a lieutenant or not, which obviously he was, but whether he was just a guy in a uniform, and all that, I mean, anything can be, he could have been coming from anything. It could have been a costume, for crying out loud. God knows what it is, but it doesn't matter. It's still a matter of him being respected as a human being. This man, Gutierrez, right here, who, by the way, the officer who handcuffed and pepper sprayed black Latino Army lieutenant has now been fired. I do want to make that abundantly clear really quick before we jump into this whole story. So when patrol car activated its siren and enemy and emergency lights behind Nazario in December, the Army lieutenant said he was reluctant to immediately pull over. That stretch of road just west of Norfolk, Virginia, was dark, and there didn't seem to be anywhere to stop safely. Now I understand that some people are going to sit there and get angry. Some people are going to be very riled up and angry because they're going, why did he drive off? Why didn't he just pull over immediately? And I covered that in my pop-up video. I was going, okay, why didn't he just do that? And I feel that argument. I definitely do. But there's also the other part. He is still a person of color. He is still somebody who is in a dark, tinted out car. Things can get lost in translation and misconstrued in the darkness. And the last thing you want to have is like, hey, say that his dog gets riled up and he's in the back of the car. He's yapping. Tension just seems to be rising, all because of the energy and the darkness of the road and all that stuff. Next thing you know, him just going up like this, or him putting his hands on the dash, or whatever it might be, on the steering wheel, whatever, they might misconstrue that into something, and next thing you know, they light him up. So he goes and says, hey, I'm going to drive down until I find a place that is properly lit. Now, I do agree. There are certain moments that he could have just done certain things and been done with it. But at the same damn time, and I said it in this pop-up video, not once did they tell him why he was getting arrested, why he was even getting pulled over. Not once. Not until much later. But everything all the way up till they put his knees on his back and started kneeing him on the ground, when they pepper sprayed him, all that stuff. Not once did they tell him why he was pulled over. That's suspect as hell. That would make me nervous too. More than anything. So he's going, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I get it. He could have turned off this vehicle. I get it. He could have gotten out of the car. There's a lot of things he could have done, right? Many things he could have done. But there's a lot of things that the cops could have done too. They got their guns pointed at this man that for a routine traffic stop, they're telling him to get out the car, and yet they're not telling him why. ¿Por qué? They're not saying anything. So of course he's scared. You got guns drawn out. And 9 times out of 10, we just, like the beginning of the first title of this live show right now, the title underneath, we are talking about protest because the death of what? Duante Wright, a man who got out of his car and guess what? Is no longer on this planet. Whether whatever happened to him, just saying. So all of a sudden, you got the same situation going on right here. He gets pulled over, guns are already drawn. And they're going, get out the damn car. And he's going, why? What's going on? I don't know what's going on. Please, can you tell me what's going on? They're not telling him why they're pulling him over. They're not telling him why to get out of the car. So he's scared. Still has his hands out of the window, driver's side window. Not doing anything except saying, hey, I just want to know what's going on. I'd be terrified too. Now, I'm not sitting here saying his choices were the best. They weren't. He didn't make the best choices either. But what if he did get out of the car? Would he still be here? Or would he become another hashtag? That's another question for you that I pose to you guys. So Gutierrez, whose employment with the department has since been terminated following an internal investigation, and his partner Daniel Crocker, who I was calling Ryan Felipe, just for ish and giggles, are now the defendants in a lawsuit arguing that they violated Nazario's constitutional rights, though the use of excessive force and unlawful through the use of excessive force and unlawful search and seizure. Okay, now the thing is, the complaint alleges that the officer's behavior is consistent with a disgusting nationwide trend of law enforcement officers who, believing they can operate with the complete immunity, engage in unprofessional, discourteous, racially biased, dangerous, and sometimes deadly abuses of authority. Now, you got a guy out here that is getting pulled over, doesn't know what he's walking, doesn't know why he's getting pulled over. He is asking multiple times why he's getting pulled over. The guys have their guns drawn already. You got Gutierrez basically sitting there going, oh, you about to ride the lightning, stuff like that. Doesn't need to do any of that stuff. Then he switches his taser to mace. Why is he macing the guy when the guy isn't even being aggressive? Then the reason why he didn't even take The reason why he didn't even take the seatbelt off, he even says it in the video. He goes, if I take this seatbelt off, I'm scared for my life. He literally says, I'm scared for my life. That if I reach for this right here, you're going to think I'm trying to pull a gun and you're going to shoot me. This is the world that we're living in, my people. This is the world that we live in. Where a soldier can't even put his hand down here to unbuckle his seatbelt because he's that terrified, because he knows statistically what could possibly happen. This is the reason why people are getting so riled up about this. This is the reason why they're seeing the video. And yes, he had a choice. They asked him, you know, you have a choice, etc., blah, blah, blah. He had a choice. He decided to go take another route. But at the same time, there's certain levels of respect and certain pieces, certain protocol that the cops could have followed or should have followed that they didn't do. This guy did not know what the hell he was getting pulled over for. And just like any other smart individual that is cautious and knows that driving while being a person of color, driving while brown, driving while black can end up being detrimental. Can end up being a devastating moment. So he goes, I'm pulling up to a well-lit area, and that's all it's going to be. And of course, this guy, this officer right here, got all, you know, got rowdy with his handlebar mustache up in this piece. Felt like he could do this stuff to this lieutenant, who, by the way, I keep thinking, because he says he's a veteran too. He's a vet. He says, I'm a vet, ex-military, blah, blah, blah. I keep thinking maybe he was getting more and more riled up because he was expecting that lieutenant to instantly comply because of him being in the military. That's what I think. I think he just got even more angry because he was like, oh, bro, you know, that's what you get. Like, I'm asking you to do this thing and you're not complying, soldier. I gave you an order, soldier. Why aren't you getting out the car? That's an order, soldier. He's not getting it. So he's not getting mad because he's like, wait a second. I'm a vet. I'm ex-military. You should understand. I just gave you an order, sir. And he says it a lot of times in the video. He does. And all the lieutenant is saying is, what is going on? I'm confused. I'm scared for my life. He did say that. I'm terrified to get out of this car. Please don't do that. Please don't touch me, sir. Only part I think is bad is that the other part, which is what Siri did say. He did pull the door closed. He shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have done that part. That was a bad move on his part. But at the same time, those police officers, well, that one police officer, like I said, Ryan Felipe was cool. Like, he was just off on the side. You could definitely see that he's a rookie, right? Definitely a rookie. But the main guy, Gutierrez, handlebar mustache, mother lover, definitely pushed the envelope. And he shouldn't have done what he did. And now he's facing the consequences. He has now been fired. Another ex-cop. Because of using excessive force. There was also conversations of him saying like something like talking like walking the green mile, referring to him possibly getting executed, so on and so forth. I mean, there was a lot of other things that were being said, that Gutierrez said. A lot of things that didn't need to be said. That's it. Lady Justice said it beautifully. The one officer just was too aggressive, came off too strong. He deserved to get fired. And I couldn't agree more. Like I said, what the lieutenant did, what Lieutenant Nazario did, I don't think he did too terrible of a thing. He wasn't flailing. He wasn't acting a fool. He closed the door. When they tried to open the door, he closed it, and he's like, wait a second. His hands were still out, by the way. He closed it with his elbow. He was like, wait a second. No. Hold up. What are you doing? What are you doing? And then the officer, Gutierrez, just started spraying him with mace, etc., all this stuff. It didn't need to go that far. It didn't need to go there. Period. But, like I said, I do understand where other people might see moments where, bruh, all that man needed to do was comply. All that lieutenant needed to do was comply, etc. I could see that part. I could definitely see that part. But most definitely, Officer Joe Gutierrez used excessive force. They went in too hot, and he was ready for some action. He was ready to just put some damage, put some hurting on that guy. For no reason. That could have been done in such a different way. And it wasn't. Again, let me just point out one last time. They never told Officer Nazario why he was getting pulled over. And that's usually one of the first things to go. The first thing you do is you're getting pulled over for da-da-da-da-da-da. They didn't do that. They just jumped out of the car and they're like, get out the car, blah. What? The hell's going on? Whoa. What's going on? I'm confused. What's going on? I don't want to die, man. I don't want to die. What's going on? What did I do, man? What did I do? Get out of the car. What did I do? Like I said, like we just talked about with Tyler. Legally, you're supposed to know why you're getting asked to get out of the car. Usually they tell you like, well, it's because of this, that, and the third, or you're getting pulled over for this, or, you have a warrant out for your arrest, sir. I do? Yeah. Looks like some parking tickets or something, sir. Sorry. Turn around, put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest. Oh, damn. Damn parking tickets. Whatever it might be. They usually tell you what's up. He didn't do that. That is protocol, by the way. That is protocol. They didn't do that. Hence the reason why, not only just that, but let's start off with that. That started the domino effect, the snowball effect, if you will. There it is. There it is, y'all. And if I was sitting there and I didn't know what was going on, and I'm asking him, please, can you tell me what's up? Why am I getting arrested? Hands out the door, being peaceful, being calm. I'm not sitting there going, F the middle fingers to him, whatever, gesticulating violently or anything of that sort. And they're still not telling me anything. I'm gonna keep my ass in the car. I'm scared. I don't care if I'm a lieutenant, if I'm the Rock Johnson, if I'm the Terminator. I don't care. I want to still be on this planet. Still live to fight and live and breathe another day. So you for damn sure, I know for damn sure I'm going to keep my hands out and go, what did I do? I know my rights. What did I do? That's it. Anyway, moving on to the next story. This one's something interesting too. Speaking of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, see what I did there? This is weird. Okay, so apparently there's polls out there. 46% of America, I guess, are saying that they want Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to run for president. I think I've seen everything. I think I could officially die now. Yeah. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that he wouldn't do a good job, but 46% of America, 46% of Americans want to see him run for president. I'm even stuttering over it because I still don't believe that would be a thing. But here it is. No lie, humbling. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson appears open to running for president after favorable poll results. Isn't there a movie called Idiocracy? where it was what's his name? I'm forgetting his name, but super jacked guy. I forgot his name. But anyway, where he ended up being president, but like everyone got even more stupid or something like that. Anyway, this is very weird. Okay? Now, it appears that he is not against running for president of the United States. Everyone's favorite wrestler turned movie star took to social media yesterday after seeing a Newsweek article that said at least 46% of Americans would be supportive of Johnson running for the highest position in the land. Johnson called the endorsement humbling. He said, I don't think our founding fathers ever envisioned a 6'4", bald, tattooed, half black, half Samoan, tequila drinking, pickup driving, fanny pack wearing guy joining their club. But if it ever happens, it'd be my honor to serve you, the people, he said in a post. He's already starting to sound extremely diplomatic already. About 30,000 adults were surveyed for a poll, Newsweek said. The poll found people would also be supportive of runs from Oprah and Matthew McConaughey. Well, all right. I get older, they stay the same age. All right. Of course, the fact that Johnson could run for president is nothing new. He told Stephen Colbert back in 2018 that it was a possibility. And in January, the U.S. election betting odd makers had him a part of the conversation for the 2024 presidential race. Yeah. It's official. It's official. The White House could be stocked up with a whole bunch of performance-enhancing drugs and a full-on gym. He would take off, like, he would cut off the whole West Wing, and it would just be straight up a gym. You know, he'd be like, hey, all right, guys, you know, we're gonna get big, we're gonna get jacked today. Now, the other thing isn't funny. The other thing is that what I find is funny is Rodney Martin just said Arnold Schwarzenegger would have run for president, but he's not a naturalized citizen, which is true. But he also did become governor. So anything's possible. Anything's possible when it comes to this. The Rock Johnson running for president in 2024. That'd be very, very interesting. Now, I wonder what place he would be sitting in. Would he be independent? Would he be Republican? Because if Biden ends up running, it's done, right? Right? So, this is a very interesting situation. I'm going to open up the phone lines for a quick flash round of speak on it. Because I want to hear your thoughts on this. Would you vote for Dwayne The Rock Johnson or no? Give me a call, 314-766-4581. Would you vote for this man? Would this be a possibility? Oh my God. Yep. Every day, Chris CCC, it would be the State of the Union would just be him just walking up and, you know, with the eyebrow, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? 314-766-4581. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. There it is. Boom. Yeah, literally, like this is from Idiocracy. Y'all remember that movie Idiocracy? What's his name though? That's going to drive me nuts. I'm trying to find his name. Oh, well, we got a call. Hey, you're on the mic with the Pascal Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It is the plainest Jane. And I got a quick question.
Oh.
Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
Do you smell? I don't. Terry Crews, thank you so much, Lady Justice. Thank you so much. In Idiocracy, like, real talk, it would be cool to see somebody just freaking just in shape and ripped. You know what I'm saying? I mean, every day he'd be like, all right, guys, we're going to do our 2,000 push-ups. Let's go. And then drink a bottle of tequila at the same damn time. this would be very interesting. I mean, obviously, he is the people's choice, right? People love The Rock. I love The Rock. I love Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I think he's amazing. But him running for president would definitely be an interesting. It would be interesting. It would definitely be interesting.
It would be more than interesting, and I think the bar is so low for presidency right now. I think as long as you can pass some sort of mental health check, if you can prove that you're at least sane, that seems like where the bar is for me. Because if a Moldy Orange could make it in and just do whatever they wanted to do,
right?
Don't we just need to be sane and just have a little bit of working common sense?
You know, it's funny because I guess, yeah. I mean, you know, real talk, he wouldn't need much. But it's funny because if you say the bar is that low, that's kind of sad because it makes it seem like he ain't ish. You feel me? Like the bar is low. The bar is low. But
the bar is super low, and I just think that the Moldy Orange put it down there. And we've got people like Terry Crews or Arnold Schwarzenegger or Dwayne The Rock Johnson. They all seem like stand-up guys. I really feel like I wish Will Smith would run, to be honest. I feel like he would really do us right, although we'd have to deal with the red table.
Yes, we would.
But at this point, I just feel like, do we have somebody who at least has common sense and empathy to make sure kids in a cage and different things don't happen? I just feel like we're just asking for the bare minimum. We can't ask for too much. Just have common sense and have a heart. God dang it. You can be president.
All you got to be is like, you just got to have a whole bunch of monies. You just got to make sure you got a lot of monies and, and just kind of abide by some certain things and you should be fine. And as long as you know how to say America, you should be fine. You know what I mean? Like, that's it.
Correct.
That's it. America. And then that's it. They're like, oh my God.
And can you debate and stay on topic? If when we ask you questions, can you answer them, or will you always just say Hillary Clinton's emails, but Hillary Clinton's emails, but Hillary Clinton's emails, when you're being asked about other things that don't have anything to do with the internet?
Bang. Now that's a very good fact though too. And then the other on top of that is is this: where would he stand? Because like I said, Biden will most likely run for re-election if he survives. Sorry, but let's be real. If he survives, okay, he got to survive first. But once he survives the first 4 years, he could still run. He could still go, hey, I'm running for re-election because F this ish. I still believe that I can still do this. So if he runs for the Democratic slot, would he go in as independent or Republican? Because I don't see him being a Republican candidate. You see what I'm saying?
I don't see that either. And I don't really see him running. I see him rolling. In 4 years, he ain't going to be able to run nowhere. He's going to be in a wheelchair, and he's going to need to sit down and roll onto the VP role and let somebody who can actually run and who can, answer the questions in a timely fashion. And let me not subtract from him, right? Because he does have a speech impediment. Sometimes people get to listening to him speak and think that maybe he's going senile.
Right.
And he does have a stuttering issue. So let's go ahead and give him a little bit of credit with the way in which he responds, because he doesn't just bring up his opposition's dirt. He actually does go to answer the questions. But we got to be honest with how up there in age he's getting, and if he will be competent enough in 4 years to, spearhead everything that we need. And I don't see it happening. I think he would be great as the VP maybe in the next term, but I don't want to see Michelle Obama there. I don't want to see Oprah there. Why? Because they going to make all their hair fall out. You know what? We saw Obama start and finish. His hair started as all pepper, and then when he came out, it was all gray. It was all salt. So I just don't. I know we would love to see a black woman as president. It would be history, but I just feel the first woman president, they're going to drag her through the mud, and we just don't want her being black. Let somebody else get it. But this whole presidency thing, it's like being at the casino. We don't know what's going to happen.
No kidding. It's a roll of the dice. You know what I'm saying? We playing craps up in this piece. We don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? Hopefully we come up with snake eyes, but we don't know. That's the problem with this. We don't know. Is that it's turning into a circus, literally. That's why I mentioned the movie Idiocracy, because Terry Crews in that movie, this guy, I forgot the synopsis of the movie, but it's like he travels into the future or something like that, and it's like the people have gotten more stupid. People have become dumber. So much that they have like this ridiculously jacked Terry Crews as the president, and everyone's just dim-witted idiots, right? And I'm not sitting here saying that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is that, but it would be very funny if his policies are trash, right? Because it all depends on what he has to say, you know, what his policies are and all that. But it would just be funny, like just to show a reflection of how our country has become, where it's like we got this jacked up movie star who, like I said, I love The Rock, but clearly he's on some performance enhancing drugs, running this country.
Yeah, we can't have that, because as funny as White Chicks is, a lot of us feel he wasn't acting. He wasn't acting. That's who he is.
Bruh.
So I said, hey, stick to making us laugh, stick to standing up for men who are a part of the Me Too movement, and men who do actually face sexual harassment. We, you know, all that. Be the face of that. We respect that. At least I do. I know some people clown him because they're like, oh, how are you so big and you let somebody grab your junk? Listen, if he had a wild out and punched him, we'd be in a totally different spot, right? So I think we need to leave our aces in our places. Terry Crews does well on screen and being a mouthpiece for issues that really do affect him and affect other men, black men. But up in the White House, no. We seen you in White Chicks, boo. That ain't it. But let me get out the way. I don't want to soak up your whole show. I just wanted to call in and say, you know, if you saw what The Rock is cooking, and hey, I'm here for The Rock as president. Let's do it.
All right. You're with it. Okay. Plain as Jane, thank you so much for calling in. Appreciate it, sweetheart.
Have a good one.
Bye. Yeah, you know, that's the thing. Seeing somebody actually like seeing The Rock actually run would be very interesting. But he would have a lot of work to do. If he actually ends up doing it, he has a lot of work to do, but he's got time to do it. 4 years. He's got 4 years to, well, you know, a little less than 4 years to start getting his stuff together. You know what I'm saying? So it would definitely be interesting to see him up there trying to debate with all these other people, etc. I mean, if anything, it's worth the entertainment. Let's get this last phone call. Hey, you're on the mic with the Pascal Show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Chris Collins, Bloomington, Illinois. How you doing today?
Good, man. How you doing? What's your thoughts on this? Speak on it.
Oh man, you know we had a movie star do this. It was Reagan.
Yep, he most definitely did.
So we most definitely know that it can be done, even at the governor level, because we've seen that happen. But I also seen a wrestler turn around and become governor, and that was
Ventura.
I can't think of his name right now, but Ventura. That's right, Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yes.
So. You know, when you look at people that Trump just become president, all right, that if he can become president, anybody can become president. And the thing is we need to put the right people in place that are actually going to make a difference for the people, and not about the 1%ers, but about the 99. And if anyone's going to do that, I'm going to stand behind them. But you know, if we look at what we have now, I just see a progression of what's going to ail our president that we have now. But if we can reach out to him and do some positive things, get him involved in what we're launching, because today was a great day for our charity, housing our people everywhere. Mm-hmm. We bought 2.5 acres in Bloomington, Illinois, and we are going to end the homeless problem. And it's been right here in this county, in McLean County, Illinois, largest county here, for over 100 years.
Right on.
And we're going to do it by teaching our children. Our children are going to be the solution to every adult's problem, and we need to engage with them and do it right. But I say, you know, do I think he could do a worse job? No, but he does need to learn about, you know, as much politics and what he's supposed to be able to do for foreign relations and get that stuff corrected, because we need unity on this planet and not diversity.
You know, it would be very, like, you know, if he's able to bring those things in, if they were able to bring that in, I think it would be very interesting to see what happens here. You know what I mean? If he was able to do that, and with him, he's able to unify this country in some sort of way, that's something I would be interested in seeing. Like I said, I'd really be interested in knowing what his policies are, where he stands politically, because he did, recently come out with his whole thing of like, hey, we need to, he basically said like, we need to get this guy Trump out of office. Like, he definitely took a stand of like, we need to get this person out of here, and we need to bring in somebody who's going to make this country better. So it'll be interesting to see what he does over the next few years, if he decides to run. You know what I mean?
I agree with that. Yes, sir, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I've reached out to him now for the past couple of years just to introduce him to our programs.
Right.
So that way I could get a voice out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is where it all comes down. Where do you stand? Do you stand on giving equality, and you want the people to come out of poverty and to prosper? Then let's do that. And we have this opportunity. We can do it, and we can do it together. And if he's hearing this, I want him to hear it, because I want him to reach out to us, because we need him to speak for us, because he can hit a larger audience than I can.
Absolutely.
And that makes the difference.
That's absolutely right, man.
So,
well, Chris, thank you so much for the phone call. I appreciate it. You have a good one.
Thank you, brother.
All right, man.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, so, I mean, and I think that's one of those things, like I said, it would be very interesting to see him run. I would definitely love to see him run. It would be entertaining as hell. And I would love to see how he would handle himself on the political platform, on a political front. He is very well spoken. He has obviously been somebody who is used to speaking to thousands upon thousands of people. He definitely has he has a knack, and he has that charisma that everyone loves. So if he was to run, he would have a fighting chance, y'all. He would actually have a fighting chance. I'd kill to see it. I would kill to see it. I want to see it. I want to see him do it. F it. Let's see him do this damn thing. That would be entertaining as all get out. You know what I'm saying? It would be entertaining. If anything, it would definitely be entertaining. Anyway, guys, it's time to get going. I really do appreciate it. Immortal just said something a little bit ago. I'm trying to find it one last time. Said, Pascal, heads up, sooner or later they will start a press conference for Brooklyn Center shooting. So I might be jumping back on here very shortly again to do a live stream to watch the press briefing with you guys, the press conference, to find out if there's more information. Maybe there's more information in the shooting that we don't know. Maybe they're going to give us more stuff, or maybe they're just going to keep with the same MO. But we will be checking it out. I'm sure they're going to get down to the nitty gritty of this whole situation here very, very shortly. For those of y'all, to my family that are out there in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, or if you're in that area, please be safe out there. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy out there. I don't know if since this show, I don't know if the riots have subsided, or the chaos has subsided so far, but hopefully you guys are out of harm's way, in a safe place. Get rest. For those of y'all who are up all night just protecting your homes and protecting your businesses, get a decent nap in during your day or something like that, because I know how hard that is. I know that it's going to be a tough couple days over there for sure. So my thoughts and prayers go out to all you guys that are dealing with that kind of stuff. But anyway, I got to get going. Definitely hit that like button down below. That would really mean a lot. If you could send it, past 80 likes, I'd really, really appreciate it. I still see 90 something people still in the feed right now. So if you could just send those likes all the way up, that would mean the world to me. It was a great show. Great time chatting it up with all you guys. We got to talk about some serious ish here. There's some serious things going on, and we are going to be talking about more stuff. Keep an eye out. I will most likely be doing a live stream as soon as the press conference does get started. So just be on the lookout for that so we can all watch that together. Anyway, it's time to get going, okay? Actually, before I do that, hold on 1 second. Yes. So, before I get going, I love all you guys. Hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't done it yet, hit that join button. $4.99 helps fuel this show. You know what I'm saying? Keeps us afloat. Keeps the motor running on this show. And we can give you guys that fire stories and those breaking news. All right. So anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll probably see you guys in a little bit here with this press conference, all right? This is The Pascal Show. Bye!
Black folks and people of color have been hit hard by COVID-19. And now there's a vaccine, and you have to decide whether to get it or not. That choice is yours. Get information based on the facts. Visit preparestl.com to learn about the pros and cons of the COVID-19 vaccines, and how to take care of your physical, mental, and emotional health. Remember, when you know better, you choose better. Prepare STL, helping St. Louisans of color prepare and prevail.
Homeowners and property managers, if you're looking for effective and humane ways to remove wild animals and deal with the damage that they have caused, we have good news for you. Introducing Wildlife Command Center, a professional nuisance wildlife management company specializing in providing animal removal for residential, industrial, and commercial clients. We are the only wildlife company that checks 70 different areas on a structure to determine the answers to the following questions. Exactly which animal are we dealing with? How is the animal getting inside the home? What kind of damage is the animal doing to the structure? Once we get the answers to all of these questions, we develop and write up an action plan to resolve the animal issue completely and provide a quote to implement that action plan. We perform a very in-depth 70-point wildlife inspection. From visually inspecting the highest point, the chimney, to physically crawling inside the attic space and looking for animals, chewed wires, fecal matter, chewed structural wood. We inspect everything. Our inspection process covers all of the following 70 points: animal-proof chimney cap, roof ridge vents, roof to soffit junctions, dormer fascia, attic gable vents, gutter lines, fascia trim, garage door, utility penetrations, water, gas, electric, and cable, bathroom vents, attic roof ridge vents, attic electrical, wiring, junctions, boxes, and lighting, concrete decks, additions, wooden crawl spaces, basement plumbing, penetrations, ceiling, floor, and wall. Wildlife Command Center's mission is to deliver the finest quality wildlife removal and pest control service that is safe for the environment. For more information, call us now.